Two divas, one battle, but which diva, in fact, will win in the end? As ever, let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you today. I'm sorry, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat. You know, it just comes on from nowhere, doesn't it? Do you find that? Where you wake up with it and think, where did this come from? Cough sweets, hot tea, lots of hot water, lemon, honey. I know, you get annoyed, don't you? I blame the transport, you see. People coughing without handkerchiefs. Yes, you're with me, aren't you? Where's good manners gone? You sit next to somebody, you think, couldn't you put your hand over your mouth? Then you know, of course, 2 days later, kaput. I know I'm having a rant here, but I do get annoyed with it all. I'm sure you'll all agree. It's a little bit like this particular breaking story. Fascinating here is as we edge towards Meghan Markle's launch of her, well, whatever it is, as ever, I can't keep up, as ever. Well, it's interesting now because, of course, the sort of spat has increased, you know. Now, I've often said this on the show. It does sort of make me laugh with these things because everybody talks about, oh, we haven't had a wave, have we? Sorry, morning, how are you, or evening? Nice to see you. Listen, the glass ceiling thing, you know what I'm talking about, ladies? You know, oh, it's all sisterhood. No, it's never sisterhood. Trust me, you know, if you work in television, there is no sisterhood between the women. All nice in front of the camera, oof, behind the scenes. Yes, it makes Top Cat look like an alley cat. Do you know what I'm saying? Ruthless, absolutely ruthless. And this particular thing has literally taken off. This is, of course, Gwyneth Paltrow versus Meghan Markle. Now, as we know, Meghan launched her video earlier this week. What's interesting about this is everybody's picking up on the fact that Meghan had a very similar pendant, if not the same pendant, that Gwyneth Paltrow's been wearing. And then Gwyneth upped the stakes by liking a rival brand, the one in New York, you know, the clothing store. I find all of this just great fun, personally. But according to a source, now let me just explain. I've met both ladies, right? I've met Meghan Markle and I've met Gwyneth Paltrow. And I would say they're two of a kind. Absolutely, 100%. Gwyneth Paltrow came to my studio to do I think something for Apple. Something she was launching, I can't remember now. And she came in with her team, totally ignored everybody, spoke to me because I forced her basically, you know what I mean? But the thing is, she didn't want to talk to anybody, refused to have pictures of any of the crew because she was in a rush, didn't have time, barely acknowledged people, full of herself, right? But, you know, that's her prerogative, and clearly this was at the tail end of her acting career and she was just starting the Goop thing, so you can understand. Ruthless to the core, and her team around her incredibly rude as well. What they forget is these young boys and girls that were working for me at the time, you know, they are your future fans. This is what they remember. A little bit like Meghan Markle wheeling somebody out of Vision, of course, at the Invictus Games. Now, again, here's where this gets more interesting because the beef really took place and has escalated ever since Meghan rocked up to the Hamptons. If you remember, this was a big powwow for all those people that were going to do wonders and shape the landscape of influencers and stuff like that. But the real beef behind the scenes was simply this. According to that source, Gwyneth Paltrow could not believe that Meghan Markle had literally stolen her format, her idea, whatever you want to call it, for her launch video. Remember the one basking in lemons in the kitchen with the music, the fuzzy sort of thing, and then the ballroom dress? Well, Meghan, of course, was desperate to get near Gwyneth Paltrow at the Hamptons. She wasn't having it. They couldn't, literally could not stand her and kept well away. Now, according to a source, Gwyneth is all about sisterhood and everything. Rubbish. This is a rival, right? And so the whole point of what she's doing is trying to ramp it up, as it were, to point out the fact that she's not necessarily on the sisterhood side of Meghan Markle. Now, behind the scenes, her team are basically saying, lap this up because people like nothing more than a good catfight between two celebrities, loosely speaking. But of course, Meghan's not very good at playing the sisterhood. And apparently when she saw this, just felt very hurt and got, again, very teary. Is there ever a day when she's not? But more importantly, Gwyneth Paltrow apparently has not quite finished wiping the floor with Meghan Markle yet. She felt that her brand was being tarnished by the fact that people were comparing it, hers, to, of course, Meghan's, as ever, allegedly. But either way, this is a catfight that's set to run and run. Trust me, ladies. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.